You are listening to Realign Your Life Podcast, where I discuss with you strategies on how to realign your life and move towards the direction you always want to. I am Vivian, the host of this podcast, and every week I will bring value on how to improve and realign your life either through a guest or my thoughts. I can't wait to share what we have this week. It's time to realign your life. Well. Welcome back to Realign Your Life Podcast. This is Vivian, the host of this show, and I am so excited about today's episode. As you know, this is all about us taking this journey together to get our lives realigned. And just remember, as I've always said, it is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And as promised, I will be bringing guests onto this show to just share what their journey has been and what it looks like. So today, my listeners out there, I am so excited to have with you someone that's just so special to me. This is my niece, Kim Ross. And Kim has been on a journey and continues to travel as she is realigning her life. So welcome, Kim. Welcome to Realign Your Life.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So excited.
Well, we're excited to hear your story and your journey. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, Kim, first of all.
Okay. So I am a child of God. That's first.
Hallelujah.
And I am a wife, I am a mother and to 4 children, and then I'm a Mimi to 6 wonderful grandchildren. So that is my life. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur as well as my 9 to 5. I am a data analyst. So I have a busy life.
Wow. It sounds like it. You sure do, girl. I do not know how you can manage all of that. But I heard one thing in there that I know you absolutely love is that nanny. Is it Nanny?
Mimi.
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 I've heard a couple of other people call themselves Mimi. So I'm sure that is the fun part of your life.
The fun part. That is definitely
to relax, right?
Yes.
So, Kim, I am so excited, and I know that our listeners out there really want to hear all about you and how this ties in. So I want them to go away knowing that, hey, if this lady can do that, with all of the stuff that she's going on in her life, I am absolutely sure that I can do this too. So tell us, what made you decide to begin to realign your life? Well, how did that all start?
Well, it started, I would say it had to start from the beginning. When I was trying to figure out life and going from this job to that job. And with my current, my past job recently was promoted. But when I was doing that job, and I did that job for about 9 years. And while sitting at the table with some of my colleagues and going out and doing my job, I thought, I can do this. I could do something close to this, meaning that I need to find my purpose. I need to find my passion. What is my passion? So I found myself, being in conversation. And the more I talked about children and how children could be better and parents could be empowered. And I thought, okay, is that what I'm supposed to be doing? And so from there, I just thought, it's time to make a switch. Started in nursing, started out, just knew I was going to be a nurse.
Like your auntie, like your auntie.
Like my auntie. Yes, she was definitely my motivation. And I worked in healthcare for many years. I worked in healthcare for about 15, 16 years and went to nursing school, got all of my prereqs and went to apply for nursing school and it just halted. Yeah, it was just a big halt. And that's when I got my current position and working with compliance. And I thought, healthcare compliance. I was still in healthcare, but I was doing more so with compliance. And I thought, maybe I wasn't supposed to be a nurse. Maybe I was supposed to coach and nurture people. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So it all began for you, this journey with really finding your true passion and your purpose. Mm-hmm. Wow. So would you say to our listening audience that is very, very important to go on that journey and to search for what it is that you are intended to be?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It all ties in together because I have a passion to help people. So healthcare, what are you doing? You're helping people. But that is not the end all be all. You really have to find that thing that drives you. You have to find that thing that pushes you every day. And that then becomes your passion. And so you'll find yourself not doing what you are maybe educated to do, but what you're passionate about doing.
Oh, wow. I love that, Kim. I love that because you can be educated to do one thing, but that's not really where you're supposed to be. It's like there are so many people that I know that go to college, get a 4-year degree, 6-year degree, whatever, and they are still unhappy.
And they're tired at doing their work. And I remember one time working in healthcare, and it was actually my last job in healthcare. And I remember going to that job every day frustrated. I had done this for years, but I just found myself frustrated. I was aggravated. With all the people that was around me. And I would pinpoint it on the fact that I just didn't like that job. But that wasn't it. It's just that I was not walking in my passion. I wasn't walking in my purpose. And it's so important to do that because so much time passes you by. And if you learn to realign yourself and the importance of being in alignment, because you think about a car, right? If a car is out of alignment, it won't operate the way that it's supposed to. You'll be all over the place. Right?
Amen, sister. Amen. And we talked about that in this podcast also.
Oh, okay. So it's important to get that tune up and make sure that your tires are good, that room, and make sure that you're aligned with yourself. So,
So Kim, I can imagine that in this process and in that search and in that walking this out, that you have probably had to make some sacrifices so what were some of the sacrifices that you had to make and what was it that really kept you motivated to keep it moving?
I would say my husband. My husband is my number one supporter. I mean, he supports me. Whatever I put my hand to do, he supports me. Oh, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So when I decided to go back to school as an adult, it was really challenging because, you learn different as an adult. But I was so driven to succeed. I knew that this is what I wanted. I know what I wanted, and I went after what I wanted. And I feel like when you have that support, when you have that pushing your back, it really, really helps you to get to where you need to be. And but sacrificing time with my husband, sacrificing time with my grandbabies, to long night studies and, up early in the morning studying before work and Those were some sacrifices that I was willing to make. And you have to be willing to make sacrifices because good things don't come when you're just waiting on it. You sometimes have to go to it.
So tell me, part of that sacrifice, I hear you say it, is that you were still working a full-time job?
Oh, yeah. I was working a full-time job.
And managing your home. Wow. Yeah. So that is a huge, huge sacrifice. But the thing I heard you say is that you knew what you wanted and you were going after it. So tell me, what was it that really nailed it for you to know that, hey, this is it? This is really what I enjoy doing, or this is what puts that pep in my step. What was it that when you knew that you knew that you knew?
When I knew that I knew is when I had grandsons. And I love my granddaughters, but it's something about the boys and them growing to be strong, confident young men. And I know that they already have a stigma on them because they are biracial. It's been said that, biracial children have behavior problems. They lack a lot of things. And so with having the conversation about parenting and children, this generation today, I thought, golly, what I'm talking about could very well be my own grandchildren. So what better place to start than at home, in your own house? And so I just looked at them and thought, what could I do? Oh, I know what I can do. I have a love for children. I have a love for family. And this is it. And this is the time to do it. Yeah.
That is great. I love that because the focus is you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. So it sounds like you begin that self-care and saying, hey, I got to do something for me in order to be able to do something for them and to leave that legacy. So what led you? So you made that decision to go back to school and to get your education or just to get more knowledge about what it was that you wanted to do. So how was that going back to school, and how did you make that choice of the course of study that you would take? How did that?
So my job that I was, I feel like it's a dream job. And I say that because you just hear people talk about dream jobs and having a dream job. And only thing I had was a high school diploma. And I didn't even apply for the job. And they found me. And when they found me, and I found myself sitting at the table with highly educated people. And I thought, how did I get here? How did I get to the table? But nonetheless, I was there. And I thought, okay, Kim, you're here now. So what do you need? What else do you need to really, really get that superpower? And I knew I needed to be educated. I knew that would be the one hurdle that would stop me from getting to another table.
Just having that piece of paper.
Right. It's just having that piece of paper. And I knew that I came to the table because I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm a powerful woman. And I knew that was just one thing, but I wasn't going to let that one thing stop me. So I knew that getting my education, just getting that piece of paper to back the other things, I knew I had to do it. So that was the driving force. For sure.
So how did you choose organizational leadership?
Organizational leadership? Yeah.
How did you choose that? And what is that?
I tell you, I don't know what it is about me, but I get those challenging things, or I get those kind of quirky things to happen in my life to propel me. But Gardner Webb, when I started Gardner Webb, I started Gardner Webb for nursing. And when I realized that's just not it. That's just not
That's
it.
ain't V. That's ain't V. That's
Right.
not.
Yeah. And so my advisor called me one day and she was like, you worked in healthcare, you worked in management in healthcare, and you're pursuing your degree. I think we just started a new program. I thought, okay, how interesting. And she was like, yeah, she said, we're starting this new program in organizational leadership. You'll be able to help people still, you're coaching. And I thought, yeah, I've worked in leadership. So yeah, I need something to back that. And that's what got me to organizational leadership.
So I hear from that, you are a trailblazer. So that's a trailblazer. So you one of the first in that program at that school with kudos to you. That is wonderful. So tell me, besides that, how did going on the journey of realigning your life, how has that affected your relationships? Have you found that there were people or things that you had to leave behind or let go? Did you find that? And I heard you say that your husband was very supportive of you, but what about some of these other relationships?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I spent my 20s and 30s and some of my 40s, my early 40s, nurturing my family. So outsiders, I didn't have friends. And I know that was God's purpose for that. And that was simply because that needed to be my focus. My family needed to be my focus. But then God placed some friends in my life. And it has been a joy having adult friends.
Girl now, you're a big girl now, huh?
Right, I'm a big girl now. And so, and it all has worked out because, seeing, having girlfriends now, taking girl trips and doing things like that. I couldn't have done that with the family, raising my family and nurturing my family. But I had people, God placed people in my life that really encouraged me. They were just amazed at the fact that, golly, you work in 40 hours, you're going to school full time, and wow, how in the world do you do it? So, getting encouragement from, the folks that God has placed in my life to call friends. My circle is very small, so it's not like I have a whole room full of friends. I have
a thing too.
Yeah, that's important, especially when you are going somewhere. When you realign your life, it's very important to have people that are people of purpose and people that are going somewhere as well, because you find yourself being encouraged. You're encouraging one another. But if you have people that that are in your circle that are dragging their feet or are not positive, you just have to be so sensitive to the people that are around you or the company that you keep. So, but those I've had, even with my children, with two of them being educated, they wouldn't dare let me quit. There were times, with these sacrifices where I said, oh gosh, especially in statistics, that being one, when I was thinking statistics, I was like, y'all can have this. And so y'all can have this. I'll just stay doing what I'm doing. But my children, and all four of them were like, nope, you're not. So, yeah. So
would you do anything differently?
I would not. I would not do anything different because I know that it was just God's design, that's the path he wanted me to take. And had I deviated from that path, I don't even know if I'd be sitting here having this conversation. Amen. So
I hear you. You've mentioned several times God. So I know spirituality is very, very important in your life. And I have witnessed that through you ministering to the women of God's Kind of Woman at our recent retreat. Well, you've done maybe about 3
Three, I think
of
three.
our retreats and have been able to minister to the women. So in this realignment, as you talk about that in your journey, tell us a little bit about what role God, Jesus, and spirituality plays in your life, because I'm sure that there are listeners out there that are like, sometimes I just feel like God is not there, or, how do I mix all of this together, or how do I look at that? So speak to us a little bit about your walk.
Sure. So I am nothing without God. Nothing. I can't be the entrepreneur. I can't be the mother. I can't be the wife. I can't be the Mimi. I can't be nothing without God. And I understand that. And I take him everywhere I go, and I'm not ashamed. So if I'm in the corporate office, I may not say it, but they sense something about me, and they don't realize that they're sensing God. And I've learned that I am the majority when I step in the room with God. And wherever the promises that he made, I don't take them lightly. I take them to heart. And I believe that if I try to step out without him, I will fail.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that I don't fail at things. I'm not a failure.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
I'm not a failure.
Does not mean that you are a failure, because from failure, it helps us to grow into being. And if we succeeded all the time, why would we need God?
Right.
So us to guide us. So Kim, with that, how do you immerse that, your meditation or your mindfulness or your time with God? Because you sound like you're a busy woman. And and you know what? I use that word busy, not like doing stuff that you scattering all around. But some people, when I say busy, you are doing things that you love doing. So how do you have your me time, or that spiritual time, or that time with God? How do you immerse that into your day?
So I start every day with God. And it's not like what most people think. Oh, you're sitting in a room and you're holding up your fingers, or because God is with me everywhere I go. So, but I do take the time, and I meditate on him, and my day always starts with a scripture, because then that helps me throughout the day. When I'm failing at things, I'm not a failure, but when I'm failing at things, it kind of, brings me back. But just having that alone time with God, and just whenever I feel him, I don't have, set times where I pray in the morning, I pray at noon. Just whenever I feel that I need him, I know that he's there. Just tap into it. So whether that be with writing or reading scripture, praying, I try to stay in constant commune with God. And there's various ways you can do it. I think, people try to make having a relationship with God really hard, saying you have to do this or you have to do that and you have to do it by this time. God is not like that. And I've gotten to know him in a relationship where when times were really, really hard, where times I wanted to give up, where I was on mountaintop experiences, I've just gotten to know God in so many different ways that it's just so amazing that I was taught that now, hindsight looking in, that God was in a box and I just tap on him when I need him or open him up when I need him. But when I need him, I mean, throughout the day, I just do whatever it takes to have that commune with him. And it's important. I mean, it is.
Absolutely.
It is very important because, God speaks in so many different ways, and, being in tune with him allows you to make decisions, or to create relationships and develop relationships. And
I love you saying that, because even myself, I pray over everything that I'm about to do, and making sure that I'm making the right decisions and, as wise of decisions as I can make, even just praying over this podcast. And just praying that the listeners will receive what they need from this. And I also heard that you say that, you pray for friends. God sent friends, or those people that support you. So it's not like, I hear you saying, I think, is that this is not a ritual type thing, or it's not religiosity, or, it's just about relationship.
Not a relationship. And I was going to say, if I could, you asked, how do I do it? Being busy, and it's all about being strategic.
Love that.
Yeah, it's all about being strategic and learning how to manage time and manage what's important, task yourself. And when you do those things, God, first of all, God graces you, right? He gives you the grace to be the 9 to 5. He gives you grace to run the business. He gives you grace to be a Mimi and a wife. And when you learn how to prioritize yourself and prioritize your life, things just work. It just works.
Love it. Yes. Priorities and goals.
Priorities and goals
is important to you, and not trying to live somebody else's life. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So what would your advice be to anybody out there that's listening? Now, y'all listen up. Get ready to give you something good. What advice would you give to people that are listening on the journey of realigning their life? That somebody that's thinking about that.
Okay. Tear down old beliefs.
Woo.
Tear down old beliefs, beliefs that your family, generational beliefs. And because we live our lives by belief systems, and it just based upon what that belief system is. If you see that past generations with that belief has gotten them nowhere, it's time to realign your life. If you see that you're frustrated every day, or you don't like going to that job, or you don't like doing, change it. Be the change you want to see.
Oh, I love Kim. I'm telling you what, you have given these listeners out here a whole lot of really, really rich food. They are at a banquet. I'm telling you, this is so good. So you mentioned earlier that also that you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
What kind of things are you going after now?
Also, I recently started a nonprofit.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the nonprofit is Connections Resource Center. And what that is about, Connections Resource Center, is to empower children and families. And we do that by educating and cultivating positive mindset while building strong communities. So, and what that kind of will look like is that we will have a cohort for the different age groups of children. Well, we'll first start with parents and empowering parents, teaching, educating parents how to be parents and how to be positive. And once we get them on board, then the children more than likely will come on board. But that's what we'll be doing. And in that cohort, they will be learning different things like social skills, behavior skills, etiquette, how to properly, handle themselves at their age. And the ultimate goal is to be in the school system by having it for starting in middle school. So they'll go through a 6th to 8th grade cohort, and then go through a 9th to 12th grade cohort, where, again, they'll be learning these skills, or probably more in-depth skills as it relates to that's appropriate to the age group. And then once they graduate or they get to the 12th grade, they complete the whole cohort. We will then assist them in college applications, college interviews, for athletes, as well as they'll receive a scholarship. And this scholarship will be in memory of my parents, which will be the DCA scholarship, which would be David and Sarah Alexander scholarship. So they'll receive a scholarship and whatever they need to help them to be successful. So if they're joining the workforce, we plan to partner with the Employment Commission to help aid them in finding employment.
Wow, that is awesome. That is absolutely wonderful. So now it gets right back to that passion of yours, of family. Yeah. Making sure that we have strong, healthy families. Yes. Because that is one of the things that I see in this country that is really a breakdown. It's a breakdown of the family. And, I just got to throw this in, y'all. I'm sorry, but that's the enemy's ploy, is to tear down the family. If he can tear down the family, he can win. So I applaud you for that. So if people want to become involved and if they want to know more about your nonprofit, how can they reach out to you, or how do they get more information?
Okay, so my email, the email address for Connections Resource Center is connections with an S, Resource Center 23@gmail.com. The email address is connectionsresourcecenter.com.
Okay. People that are slow like me
need me to
get that. Can you just share that with us one more time?
Absolutely. So the email address will be connections with an S, Resource Center 23@gmail.com. Then the website is connectionsresourcecenter.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim. Yes. I have one last question for you.
Sure.
It's just burning. And I know some of the people that are listening want to know this too. Okay. How do you keep yourself accountable?
How I keep myself accountable is by speaking. I know a lot of times people say, well, you shouldn't say things. But for me, when I'm a person of my word, transparency and being an open book is major for me. And that's one of Connections' values is transparency. So if I tell you I'm going to do something and being trustworthy, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I hold to my word. So
that's great, because your word is all about you and it's all about your integrity. So Kim, do you have any remarks or ending remarks that you would love to leave with our listening audience today?
Yes, I would just like to tell everyone to, if you don't like it, again, I'm going to say it, and I always will say it. If you don't like what you see, change it. Be your own change agent. So change, you don't like the environment, change it. You don't like your career, change it. Realign your life.
Oh, thank you so much. You have been such a powerhouse, and I know that our listening audience is going to really enjoy listening to this podcast, and they're going to take all of these golden nuggets that you've laid out there, and you've laid out your life. I mean, you're no different than anybody else that is out there listening. And with having raised a family with 4 kids, you're a Mimi, you are a wife, you are an employee, you are an entrepreneur. Listen, people, you can do it too. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And if you enjoy this podcast, please make sure that you will share it with others that you feel that need to hear this. And of course, We need your review. Make sure that you review. And I am always available if you need help. And you can reach me at godskow@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, Vivian Richardson, or LinkedIn. So thanks again, Kim. I really do appreciate you coming and sharing your heart with us. And for those of you out there, peace. See you next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. The best gift that you could give me is to share this podcast with family and friends. And don't forget to review it. That way, this podcast will grow organically. If you need to reach out to me, please check out my Facebook page, DM me there, or you can email me at godskow@gmail.com. We have upcoming Bible studies that we would love for you to join us in, or if there is a guest or someone that you would like to see me interview on this podcast, please let me know. We are here to work together to realign our lives. Until the next episode, take care, and I look forward to sharing more and more with you as we realign our lives. Peace until next week.